In Michigan, the dominant narrative holds that long prison sentences provide the severe, long-term punishment that felons deserve and protects the rest of us from them.
People who have committed acts of violence or other serious crime are cast into a category of other and considered fundamentally different from law-abiding citizens.
In 2020, Fresh Coast Alliance and Safe and Just Michigan set out to challenge this narrative.
Our From the Numbers project hopes to lift the voices of those impacted by the criminal justice system and change the narrative about people who have been incarcerated.
My name is Lorenzo Garrett. Wow. 6 months ago, I was in prison. On March 29th, 1998, I was arrested on multiple drug charges, manufacturing, possession, and delivery of cocaine. Upon that arrest, I was facing 84 to 150 years. Wow, that was the day my life turned upside down. I knew I was in for the fight of my life for freedom. And going into the prison system, I said, wow, because it was no way I always maintained the guilt of the choice that I had made that landed me facing that much time. So upon my arrest, my attorneys and everything, the first cop they came to was 40 years. I said, 40 years? Plead guilty to 40 years? Wow, here I am, faced with prosecutor and my attorney going back and forth. I decided to take a cop to 28 to 150 years. I was released from prison January 28th, 2021. Going in, because the decision I had made, dealing with money, easy, fast money, cars, women, everything that came along with the drug trade, landed me to facing that much time. But with that, with family ties, loved ones, friends, I said, I got to make some real conscious decisions on how can I get out of here. With that, I said, okay, what I had been taught coming up as a child, hard work, treat others how you want to be treated, and honesty, let me try to see how can I make this stay less than what it was. I got in the law library, studied my case, got to identify with myself on like, wow, what can I do? I said, well, I didn't need no education, because here it is, I came in with a high school diploma and some college credits. I had already had a job. I was working for General Motors upon my arrest. I said, well, okay, let me take some skilled trades. First skilled trade I accomplished was custodial maintenance. Okay. Upon that, the instructor said, well, you make a good tutor. So he wanted to hire me. Well, he did hire me as being a tutor for the class. So I said, okay, I can help others. Okay, which I kind of like helping people. That's unfortunate. So I did that for a while. Then I was transferred. Went to another prison. I said, well, they give you a thing where you get called classification. Have to sign up for jobs. So I signed it up. Then one of the picks was another skilled trade, which was building trades. I signed up for that, got in there, completed it, head of the class and everything, till that instructor called and said, I'd like to hire you. We did a lot of Habitat for Humanity work. I see it was going for a just and good cause. I enjoyed doing that. worked there till finally, dealing with the court system, I was filing for sentence reductions, motions, commutations. I had filed 2 previous commutations. Finally, upon the 3rd commutation, a year and a half had went by. Hadn't heard nothing. Normally, the parole board, the governor's office, where I sent it to, respond within the first 90 days. But a year and a half had went by, never heard anything. Finally, after that, counselor called me in and said, the parole board want to see you. I was like, what? He said, yes, they want to see you. Then went through that whole process, and I was released. I was notified December 22nd, 2020, that the governor had granted my commutation to release me from prison. I had worked hard and I reached out. Then I had another buddy in there that I had ran across, and we ran across a guy that we knew that worked for Safe and Just. He reached out to me, thanks to Safe and Just, Path to Redemption, and the governor, that I'm here today, less than 4 months, where I never thought I'd be. Because when you're faced with that much time, your whole world turns upside down. Your loved one's gone. You done lost so much because everything was stripped to me. I never forget what the judge told me upon my sentence. He said, you was at the top of the world. Now you're at the bottom. Work your way to be back up at top. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm here to prove it. Standing here to man today, that my life has completely changed. And I'm grateful and humbled to be here. Thank you very much for your time.
So Lorenzo, you mentioned you've been home about 4 months now. So in your prison experience, you were able to experience COVID from the outbreak inside the prison, right? So what was that like in an already restricted environment when COVID hit the Michigan Department of Corrections?
Well, in prison, you pretty much adapt to a routine every day to get through whatever issues and to cope with being incarcerated. And when COVID hit, that changed all that. It disrupted every plan, normal activities, be it from going to chow till you never knew, like, you might stay, you used to breakfast being served at 7 to 7:30. It went from that till they might get there at 9 or 10 o'clock, by lunchtime probably, or they might do both of them together. COVID just turned the whole system, and it was scary because the deaths happened, and then when you start hearing of your fellow inmates, prisoners dying, it really was like, because you have no contact with the outside world. You know, you're listening to the news and what the officers tell you, and then through phone conversations that was very limited because of the restrictions that was put into place.
Thanks for sharing that.
So first, in your talk with us, you mentioned that you'd only been home 4 months. You got your kind of the initial confirmation that you were going home December 22nd. And that's literally 5 weeks later, you're walking out of the doors. And so you're at this place. This is a new adventure, a new venture. You're back out here. And what is it that's keeping you motivated to continue on doing life in a way that's dynamic, and it's motivating, and you're moving forward and guarding yourself from plateauing and reclining? What is it that's keeping you going?
The values that was instilled in me, my children, family, and loved ones. Because you really, being gone 23 years, you really see who loves you and who has your best interest at heart. You know, as they say, you separate the real from the fake, because in that amount of time, you can't fake it. You know, the truth is going to come out. Just like I said, I never, said that I was innocent of the crime. It just was always about the amount of time for the crime. So it's what it was.
So you're out now. You're looking into the future. Inside, when we're in there, it's like our dream machine gets turned on, and every day there's at least one, if not hundreds, of passing thoughts of what we imagine and envision ourselves doing once we're released, right? And so we come home with all these dreams and aspirations and focuses of what we're wanting to do. Could you share with us one or maybe two things that you've dreamt about doing while you were inside? Once you say, once I get out, this is what I would like to do. Share one or two of those with us and let us know what you were thinking in there as you were coming out.
One was being a voice. That was the main thing for guys that's still inside, because you have guys that's been in there decades, as we see now, that was innocent, and some that's in there longer than they should be. That was one of my main things, and I'm glad to be sitting here for the numbers, safe and just, speaking about it. And then one is being able to just move about freely, more freely without, that was my main thing, as I said before. Got my driver's license, and then your health concerns, which it's still a struggle, which, it's just slow, taking it slow, day by day, putting my life back together.
Your voice is so needed and it's so powerful, especially in the times that we live in, where we actually have the opportunity to help turn the course of history, especially within the context of the criminal justice world. And so your voice is valuable. And, when we look at each of our voices that have spoken today, we can kind of compare ourselves to like a snowflake. A snowflake, when we look at it, can't do much. But if each of us are a type and shadow of a snowflake, one of us can't do much, but when we all come together, we can stop traffic. And so you've joined the tribe of formerly incarcerated people to be a voice and help change the narrative, ultimately see the course of history in the criminal justice world changed here in America.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah.